The new law called the Combating Auto Retail's Scams Act, or CARS Act, was signed this week by Governor Newsom, and it includes a key protection, a 3-day cooling off period for used car purchases of $50,000 or less.
You don't have to prove anything, and you don't even have to give an explanation. It's just, I don't want it, I want out of this deal, and the law requires the dealers to give you a refund.
Buyers can only return the car if they've driven it less than 400 miles. Dealers can deduct a small restocking fee from $200 up to $600, depending on the car's price.
When it comes to used cars, trust is the biggest issue. You're removing the biggest barrier to entry by giving people a cooling off period.
The law even applies to commercial vehicles, including those used for rideshare or small businesses.
You're a carpet cleaner and you have a few vans or something like that, you're covered under that return policy.
Rosemary Shahan is president of Consumers for Auto Reliability and Safety. She's been pushing for car buyer protections since the 1970s when she was living in San Diego and first picketed outside a dealership in Lemon Grove.
They tried to have me arrested. You know, there were a lot of lemons in those days.
Under the new law, used or new car dealers must also be more transparent about pricing and clearly explain optional add-ons. Ivan Drury with Edmunds, a car information and shopping website, says the new law gives consumers a lot more cards to play with.
Now it really comes down to the car. You don't have to worry about a lot of other things. Is this the right car for me? Because if you can return the vehicle, then guess what? That eliminates all your other worries.
The law officially takes effect in October of next year and will not apply to private sales, only purchases made at licensed dealerships. Brian White.
Okay, let's sum this up, man. Let's start off with the cons. Okay, so I want to understand what's going on here. So you got a 3-day waiting period that is signed in the state of California. Now, let's start out with the cons. I go to the car dealership, cars under 50K. I technically have 3 days to take this car back. Okay. Everybody knows as soon as the car leaves the you get what I'm saying, the dealership, it loses value, right? So if one person goes and buys this car, but they have a 3-day chill off period and he puts $400 on this car and they pay you up to what? He said $600. He pay you up to $600, $800 for the restock fee, because I think now that's a limit too. So if the car's over 50K, well, it can't be over 50K for this to work. Up to 50K, up to 800 on a restock fee. So that's good. Okay. But what happens if everyone's doing that? Every person wants to buy the vehicle, but they're buying the vehicle for multiple days. So for instance, I seen this car that I like. It's a manual transmission. I drive this car, say 3 days. That's a good day to test it out. Give me 3 days to test it out. It's kind of cool, but I'm looking at the aspect of the dealer. This guy's messing up the clutch if he doesn't know what he's doing. He's testing it out. Or this guy bought like a V6, a V8 at under $50,000, and he's running this car to the ground, bringing it back, get a restock fee, and then that's it pretty much. And then I have to deal with selling this car with the used tires that he just did, burnouts in, testing it out while or licks, let's say. And then he returns the car. So those are cons that I am considering. Now let's reverse it and play devil's advocate here. The pros. The pros in this, I would say, and I'll give it to California, because there's some pros, because people are stupid and they don't know what they're doing when it comes to buying cars. So they go buy a car because of impulse, and then they realize they just signed their name on a dotted line, and that could possibly be your lifeline for the next 7 years if they extend the life of the loan. That being said, I do like it due to the fact that it gives transparency to the buyer. Not only transparency with the how much everything is costing. I think they were already showing that. Hopefully they weren't doing that in certain areas that they were. When I went to get my car, they showed me that. Next, what we got next? We got the 3-day period cool off. We got I can give a personal example of this and why I really do like it. My brother, my older brother is actually an example on why people like this need this, because if after all those jitterbugs go down and you're like, okay, I got the car. It's been the second day and it's cool. My homies see me with it. I can only put 400 miles on this car. They can only charge me $800 max for a restock fee, or it's based on pricing. Hopefully, it's not that expensive. Now, for my brother, I would say that this would help him out because he was deceived by these people because he didn't know, which I'm not saying he shouldn't know because it is his responsibility, but he didn't know because he was deceived by these pricing, and then you go in there with a certain amount of down payment, and then next you know it, the down payment disappear and it went all straight to fees. Right. So that being said, it does help in that aspect because it gives you the amount of time to be like, all right, you got 3 days. That FOMO or that fear of missing out is there, and now you got the car, and now you like, okay, I test drive it. It was nice. I did it for 3 days. It was a great car, but it's not it. Now you can constantly probably do this with multiple cars. That is the problem I see here. So I don't know how they're going to consider this. Maybe they're going to refine it over time. But as of now, California, um, the law is decent. I'm not gonna lie. I can't even shit on it completely. Like I know there's cons, but the cons only apply to the dealer, but it doesn't apply to the car and or the person buying the car because it gives the person transparency to make a wise decision. But at the same time, if they're having a car for 3 days, that's more damage on the car. That means the value of the car goes down because it's in possession of somebody, not knowing if they're going to hit it, something, not knowing if they're going to break something, not knowing like how to do it properly. So I will say in that aspect, that's that's on the business aspect that I think that they would think about when these rules, because they're mandatory. They like, and this is anybody that's a licensed dealer. It can be anywhere, um, in California, right? Not private sales, but licensed dealers. You know what I'm saying? So they have to hold you to the standard. Like they don't know, you know what I'm saying, what you're gonna do to this car. I'm not saying the car doesn't work. We're just saying the car doesn't have a frame. You know what I mean? It doesn't have a like it works. It just doesn't have a framework that states this is my car. This car is temporarily and it's just going to be in my possession and I'm able to use it as if it's my car up to 400 miles. I could do a road trip, up 400 miles or 200 miles and back, and I'm going to bring the car back. And then I don't really need the car for real. I just wanted to pull up on some of my homies and say I got this car when I really don't. Then I give it back. So that's the aspect I think the companies are going to probably think about. Like the value of the cars are going to go down over time because of the multiple usage, because how many people are going to come to the car dealership and play that role on everybody. Wow. The uneducated that are being finessed by these same companies do get transparency and then get an amount of time to actually say, oh, I want this car. My honeymoon stage has dialed down and I don't want this car anymore or something. You know what I'm saying? So then now you like, I don't want this car, I'm good. Or you do want the car. Um, so there's pros and cons, and well, there's really more pros on the consumer, but there's more cons on the person selling the car. That being said, I really want y'all to tell me what y'all think about this in the comment section. It's very interesting to think California has done something that it gives somebody to think about. That is actually something that I'm not far fetched off of. Like I'm not against it completely. If I'm thinking in the business aspect, maybe I'm against it. But if I'm thinking about it in a day-to-day consumer buying car aspect, okay, makes sense because I'm paying all these taxes on this amount of money, and I'm doing my own thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes sense. It makes sense. I'll give it to them. But each his own. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this in the comments section, man. This is interesting. Or do you think people should? Did you think people should get a 3-day cooling off, that they can now make a wise decision, or do you think they should just sign the dotted line and take home that, and whatever you sign that day, adrenaline driven or not, it is your car and your responsibility, total in and out. Because something like this over time, if multiple people are doing this, then it could be a family. Like say you got a family of 5 and they all alternate buying the car. You know what I'm saying? But the whole time, none of them got money but one of them, and then they got the car, and then they just moving around like how they want to move around with a free car. Doing DoorDash or whatever they need to do. You got to think about it in that aspect too, because there's a lot of possibilities. That being said, please tell me what you think about this in the comment section. Don't forget to like the YouTube video for the YouTube algorithm. Lastly, it's your boy Angelo Savage. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace.